We are live in Summit County tonight, where the Kouri Richins murder trial is getting underway. Today, jury selection started at 8 this morning, wrapped up at 5 p.m. this evening, and will go on tomorrow again. She is the Camas woman accused of poisoning her husband with a fentanyl-laced cocktail, then writing a children's book about grief. She's pleaded not guilty in the case. Prosecutors and lawyers for Richins are now working with the judge to interview hundreds of people, potential jurors, with the goal of selecting 8 jurors and 4 alternates who will ultimately decide her fate and decide this case. Brian Schnee has been up here in court all day long listening into that jury selection process. I was there for just a couple hours of it. Intriguing to listen in as they're talking to people. What was your overall thought process after you listened to what happened in court today?
Well, jury selection is fascinating. It's people in all different walks of life, different life professions, family ties, different answers to all those questions on that questionnaire. Ultimately, they were selected to be virtual today, patiently wait their turn to be called, then be asked more questions based on the questions they already answered in that 23-page long questionnaire. So it was a long, very thorough day. It started a little bit slow. The questioning was a little bit long, then they sped it up and they got to that magic number of 24, and then they will go again tomorrow morning and take their peremptory strikes, which basically means that the defense and the prosecution will be able to knock prospective jurors off the list to cut that 24 down to 12 with 8 seated jurors and 4 alternates. So tomorrow, this should be wrapped up, again with the trial still set for the 23rd. I do not believe at this point there's been any discussion about moving that up just because jury selection moved quickly.
Yeah, it was interesting. I heard the judge, after speaking to each of these jurors, saying that go take some time off, don't watch the news, do not Google this, don't talk to your family members about it. But each person he spoke to, everyone has their own story, and you don't realize until you start listening to people's personal stories how many people have things that might touch or come close to this case. People who've had loved ones, family members die of drug overdoses, in one case fentanyl. I also listened to a couple people who'd had family members murdered, and you don't realize that as you're going through and talking to these jurors, a lot of people have life experiences that match up with what they might be hearing.
Well, they're trying to take those life experiences and see if there's a bias associated with it. And does that play into the strengths of the prosecution, the defense, or does the judge recognize that this is just a good person to have on the jury, objective, has never seen the case before, or at least says they have, right? Says they've never seen any media coverage. That's a big part of that too. Have they seen our coverage? Have they read articles about it? Did they watch documentaries about this? There's been so much covered about this that you would think most people have heard of it. The water cooler conversation. We heard people say, oh, I went to a friend's house for dinner and somebody brought it up. Or my family member also got this same survey. So yes, we talked about it. So it's hard to find that small number, which is what the defense was arguing from the very beginning about trying to change the venue. But then again, changing the venue, would you have run into the same thing? Ultimately, it seems like they were able to find some people that they feel good about. But again, the narrowing down to 12 jurors is not done, and we're just one step closer to the trial that has been in the works for years now.
And the interesting thing is we've been talking about this for years. We work in the news business, so we know a lot about this, but most people, when they talk to them, they knew 3 things. They knew there was a drug death, they knew that she was a mom, and they also knew that she was a children's book author, but that seemed to be about what most people knew about the case.
Sounds like they read the headline.
Yeah,
right?
The headline, but not the rest of the story,
Absolutely.
which tells us a lot about what people consume with news. Brian, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
You'll be back in court again tomorrow. We have been covering this case since 2023 when police arrested Richins and then charged her with murder. A few months later in June, a judge denied bail for Richins after prosecutors presented evidence, including Google searches on fentanyl. The case has taken a long time due to numerous appeals on things like jury selection and location of the trial. The defense trying to get that case moved out of Summit County and down to Salt Lake County. Last summer, the state Supreme Court issued a ruling paving the way finally for today's jury selection to begin. We want to take a closer look at how this is impacting the community here in Summit County, and more specifically in Camas, where the family lived. Liv Kelleher spent the day there talking to people about this case as it's about to get underway. Liv.
Yeah, Heidi, being here in Camas today and in Park City, I've received a wide range of responses. First, people are reluctant to talk about this on camera, but were a bit more forthcoming off camera. I met someone who said that he used to live next door to the Richins. I met another woman who said that she used to work for Kouri's aunt. So close connections right here in the community. One thing I heard most frequently, though, is that this trial has been a long time coming and people are ready for some resolution. Multiple people I spoke with said they received the juror questionnaire and were not summoned to court. Some said they had physical ailments that disqualified them, while others say they were too close to the case, knew people connected to the case, or already had strong opinions on the case itself. The defense received around 1,700 survey responses and were expecting to call around 250 people in for voir dire. As this case inches closer to trial, some people say they're still shocked that a high-profile case like this happened in a small community of just over 2,000 people.
Yeah, I mean, it's very unusual, especially Utah and especially Camas. Everyone here seems really nice. I'm just here for work, but I can't imagine something like their neighbors must be shocked, you know?
Now, Kouri Richins was found on March 4th, 2022. And Heidi, like you said, Kouri Richins was arrested and charged with his murder in May of 2023. Now we're just getting to this trial almost 3 years later. One sentiment I heard several times, particularly here in Camas, for the sake of Kouri and Eric's 3 children, they're hoping that this trial brings some closure. Reporting live in Camas, Liv Kelleher, KUTV 2 News.
Liv, thank you. I'm sure this has been a long haul for this family as they're heading into this trial. We expect it to last a month. We're going to be covering it day and night, 8 to 5 p.m. every day. We'll keep you updated on all the developments in this trial during the news on KUTV.com. And also you can find more information on the 2 News mobile app. We're going to be in court tomorrow morning again as they're going to be going over some arguments that were started by the defense right before 5 p.m. tonight, where they were looking for more options to strike additional jurors or even possibly wanting more jurors that you would have in a capital murder case, even though this is not one. The most she could get is life in prison. Back to you in the studio, Mark.
All right, Heidi, thank you very much.